Hello, this is Perogie Crash, and welcome to Let's Play Brain Transplant Surgery Simulator 2013. I've got my accent back, and now we can move on. Now, Bob is a bit of a bastard, because he came in on my day off and requested a brain transplant, of all the things. So, naturally, you can understand why I'd be a little pissed off at Bob. Naturally, as well, this is not going to factor into my treatment of him at all. Not one iota. No, sir. If I could swing this feckin' axe a little better, we might actually get a brain out of him. If he has a brain at all. Do you, Bob? Do you have a brain? Do you have a brain in there? Oh, yes, you do, actually. That's a very nice, that's a very pretty brain. A pretty brain. We're going to get it out of you. Don't worry, that tumor you call a brain is going to be removed before the end of the day. This is going surprisingly well considering I'm bludgeoning him with an axe. I really thought he would be dead by now, and, well, that's, I guess all's well that ends well, isn't it? Now, the thing about Bob, you see, the thing about Bob is that he always causes problems. Right from, oh, feck, you see, right like that, right there. He's always caught, between his geysers of blood and his showing up and scaring off my good, decent, paying patients, my insured patients, no less. Get out of there. I suppose we can be a little merciful and give him one of these. Okay. He scares off my good patients. He fraternizes with my secretary, and by fraternizes, I think you know what I mean. It's the kind of fraternizing that gets me in all sorts of legal troubles. And I mean, I have enough of those to deal with, considering I'm using a saw to take out a brain. And the thing about that is that just maybe I have a little enmity for Bob. Just maybe I would like to see him pay for what he does to me on a daily basis. Just maybe. Maybe I don't. Maybe we can get along. Maybe I can sort through my own issues and find a way to live with Bob. Maybe. And maybe as Bob is on my operating table, I hold the saw, a saw meant for cutting wood, and maybe as my hands drift just a little, maybe an accident occurs. Bob, do you understand how careful of work surgery is, Bob? Do you understand how bad these controls are, Bob? Do you understand, Bob, that I hold your life in my hands? And that I am keeping this accent for a surprisingly long time, considering I usually fuck it up by now. And are you also aware, Bob, that I apparently can't tell up from down because I keep making the same mistakes? Certainly you are, Bob. And just maybe I forget my medical training, Bob. And I think that the drill is the proper tool in this situation. Perhaps I think the drill is the proper tool in any situation at all, because it doesn't seem to be, Bob. Do you understand, Bob? That brain. Your blood level is dropping, Bob. What if I can't get you the necessary drugs in time to slow your heart? Then, 5-0, there we are. We've lost the patient, but quite frankly, everything has worked out well for me, because I no longer have to deal with Bob, or any of his shit, or any of the malfeasance. I don't know what malfeasance means, but I'm sure it's bad, and I'm sure it's related to Bob, but yet I see something I shouldn't. I see that Bob has returned to us. Is it a new Bob? No? It appears to be the old Bob. And now you understand, you see, why he's caused me such trouble in the past, because it's ridiculous to both have malpractice, have lawsuits filed against you, and for the patient to be alive after and keep coming back to you. I cannot be rid of Bob. Nobody can ever be rid of Bob. Everyone in their own life has their own Bob, and I must live with it. I must live with Bob. That said, the laser is pretty and expensive. It costs the taxpayers quite a bit, and I will be damned if I won't use it. And perhaps my timing isn't the greatest. And perhaps the laser bores directly into Bob's brain for an extended period of time, resulting in all sorts of tumors and destroyed blood vessels and severed nerves. But it doesn't matter, because in moments Bob loses consciousness for the last time and is no longer a part of this world, only to return Bob, do you understand what you do to me? Do you understand, Bob? Do you understand why I do this to you? I don't think you do, because if you did, Bob, you wouldn't keep coming back. You would eventually die, and you would stay dead, Bob. But 30 seconds. I'm sure we could do better than that. I'm sure we could get under 15. Incidentally, that's an achievement. Take note if you actually would like to do well at this game. Although I suspect that is not the point of playing, in all honesty. But this time we'll get serious. Bob, we're going to get that brain transplanted properly so that he will not come back for a while. Because you see, Bob, you're a bit of a dick. And the only way to be rid of you, I suppose, is to heal you properly. Most surgeons would jump at the chance for the idea of a patient that never dies. A patient who, despite all logic and reasoning, returns to them so often they cannot be blamed for a patient's death, because the patient never truly dies. But I just wish it wasn't Bob. Let's get that skull off of you, and I have no intention of giving you a new skull, Bob. You're not that insured. You do not have that great of coverage. In fact, the laser is going to show up on your bill. Because, Bob, the laser is fancy, and I like to use it. I like to warm up with it while you're coming in, and write my name on the wall, and I'm charging you for that because I only think it's fair, Bob. I do not believe the taxpayers should have to pay for that. Now let's get the surgical axe. And if you would believe it, this is actually what you're supposed to use here. I find that retarded, but apparently did that do it? I don't even know. No, you're apparently supposed to actually use the surgical axe to take out the brain, but I've never gotten it to work, so we're going to just poke around in here with a scalpel, a sharpie-warpy, knifey wife. I'm not good at Brit. Now, we could stop the bleeding, but quite frankly, it's almost lunchtime. And unless you want me to eat your brain, Bob, the old one or the new one, I would prefer the new one. I am not put off by preservatives, Bob. Then we had best get this done as quickly as possible. Drop the brain in, nothing but net, as you Americans would say, and we got a C. A C for kick-ass. I know that's not how you spell it, but whatever. We did pretty well, I suppose, and now Bob is cured forever of all his afflictions, until, of course, they become emergencies, and we have to do this shit again in an ambulance, where shit will fly around, and we will be in quite the trouble. Quite the pickle. Quite the pickly-wickly-woo. Shut up, phone. There we go. And I will see you next time when we attempt a heart transplant in an ambulance. No, that's all. I will see you next time.